On today's show, we ask a question most of us don't like to think about. What happens to our garbage every week and the stuff we toss into the recycling bin? The answer may surprise you.
There he is.
Next, on a much tastier subject, the bluegill is considered one of the best eating fish, especially when you find them in secret places. Our Minnesota-bound classic this week remembers a winter getaway for anglers, a place called Trout Air. Today, the spirit of Trout Air continues at Running Ace's horse track. Those stories and more coming up next on Minnesota Bound.
Here we go!
Minnesota Bound. Brought to you by Minnesota's Select GMC dealers.
Hi, everybody. Raven and I welcome you to the show. Our first story is one that we seldom like to talk about or even think about. Kind of smells sometimes. That story? It's about garbage and recycling. You know, every week, thousands of us lug our garbage and our recycling to the curb. But have you ever wondered, like I do, where does it go?
Garbage. A very smelly subject, right? In case you're wondering, this is where your garbage goes if you reside in Minneapolis. The good,
Holy cow!
the bad, the ugly. Piles of it. Every day, every week, every year. Leading my first ever garbage tour is Rick Rude.
There you go.
Nothing in there anyway.
You might say Rick Rude is a garbage expert.
So this is the tipping floor.
He's the business manager at the Hennepin County Energy Recovery Center,
They use that air as an under fire.
famed for its location immediately next to Target Field.
The Minnesota Twins are a fantastic neighbor. Putting that stadium up was a concern by a lot of people. Fun story in 2014. All-Star games going on. 52 feet away, we're burning 1,000 tons of trash and nobody knew. It's that significant how we can manage any of the odors as well as process all of this.
Process, garbage, inside.
So this is run 24 hours a day.
Garbage surprise number one. Our garbage might smell bad, but it does good.
We burn 1,000 tons of trash a day, generate about 37 megawatts of electricity an hour from that trash, as well as we generate steam that is sold directly into Target Field and then through district energy to downtown Minneapolis businesses. This is all Hennepin County trash. It's brought in here and processed rather than taken out to a landfill.
Garbage lesson number two. Landfills are a bad idea.
Back in the day, it was easy. Dig a hole and put it in there. It's out of sight, out of mind. We're smarter now. Putting that trash in the ground is creating an emission of methane that is deadly.
It looks like you're shooting oxygen up.
Where did the idea come from that you could burn your trash and not bury it?
Well, it's very popular in Europe, Ron. In Nordic countries, only about 1% of their trash goes to a landfill because they need the energy. They don't have the landfill space, and this makes sense.
Burning trash sounds easy enough. Turns out this is a high-tech garbage dump
We monitor the level of oxygen there.
operated by Covanta, a waste management company.
The trash comes in, the trucks dump on the floor. We have front-end loaders that move it into a pit. We have a crane that picks it up and drops it into two different boilers that burn about 600 tons a day.
But wait, some of us toss stuff into our garbage that won't burn. And our trash never ends. Something to remember. North of the metro at the Elk River Resource Processing Plant, the story is similar. More garbage, including items that don't belong. At Elk River, a system of conveyor belts helps sort the garbage to burn or to recycle.
It's garbage. and there's a lot of it.
Plant manager Matt Sherman explains.
We take 320,000 tons of garbage from residents in Hennepin, Anoka, and surrounding counties and process it into a refuse-derived fuel that we use to fuel our power plant just up the road. And we also separate about 4% of that material into recyclable ferrous or steel and about another 1% in recyclable non-ferrous or aluminum.
To separate the metal from our garbage, a unique magnet machine pulls and sorts aluminum cans to be recycled.
It's an eddy current. For all intents and purposes, it's a fake magnet. There's a charge there that forces that what would be non-ferrous material to jump out. We'd expect to generate about 10,000 tons of steel, enough to create an Eiffel Tower every year, and enough aluminum to make 21,000 16-foot fishing boats.
As in Minneapolis, the burnable garbage at the Elk River facility creates steam that turns turbines to make electricity.
I'm amazed at how wasteful we are as a society and just the amount of trash that people even have to throw away. And I'm just as guilty as the next person for having so much.
As our garbage piles grow, will invention save us from being buried?
To me, that somebody could think of how to take out a metal that's not magnetic and pull it out of the waste stream and then reuse it for something else is just amazing to me.
On the bright side, thanks to gravity, looky here. What's rolling out of the trash? Softballs, golf balls, to be recycled perhaps in fields and fairways. Coming up, a look at recycling our trash. What is and what isn't. The recycling answers next.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Minnesota's select GMC dealers, Ice Force, Connecticut, and by Evinrude, the official outboard motor of Minnesota Bound.
Time now to resume our look at garbage and recycling. You know, recycling is a feel-good habit, a feel-good way of living, but just how good is it?
Recycling our trash makes us feel good, right? And it is good. Good for us, good for the earth. And it all happens at recycling facilities like this one.
And then it'll go on the ballistic separator.
Randy's Environmental Services in Delano.
You know, I'd look at that and say, well, I'm not going to put it in the garbage, I'm going to recycle this thing.
At Randy's, recycled trash is sorted and separated from stuff that isn't recyclable.
Recycling is reduce, reuse, recycle.
Jim Wilshiger, Chief Operating Officer, explains.
Reduce what you throw away, reuse what you can, and recycle the rest. And if you can do that, you drastically cut down what goes in the landfill.
At Randy's, a system of conveyor belts and machines begin the process of sorting what's recyclable, what isn't.
And it goes up to the containers where people sort the containers.
At various points, human hands sort what the machines don't. Paper goes one way, aluminum cans go another. It's almost magical.
When you look at this facility here does 100 tons of recycling a day. And if you take that 100 tons and think 20 years ago that was going in the landfill, and that's every day that this facility runs is 100 tons.
Okay, we all agree recycling resources is the right thing to do, but what can and can't be recycled?
Aluminum, tin, and plastic water bottles, and plastic milk jugs.
Not all plastics are the same.
Most problems are with your plastics. There's just so many different grades of plastics, and there's things that are made up of combinations of plastics.
Exotic plastic blends, such as plastic food containers, can't be recycled. Those items end up being burned for energy. Same with most plastic bags. So what happens to our soda or beer cans?
The aluminum goes off to Reynolds Aluminum, and it's reused for pop cans.
Cardboard?
Cardboard is going to go off, and it's going to be remanufactured as cardboard. You'll see the heavy grade cardboard boxes, and then you see the lighter grade cardboard boxes. Every time it's recycled, it becomes a lighter grade.
your newspaper and other paper trash?
And that's just going to become a different grade of paper. Eventually that may end up as bathroom tissue. It won't be newspaper again.
Any odd recycling moments?
Yeah, we've had diamond rings that we found, that we've opened the trash.
That's a needle in a haystack.
I know.
At the end of the line, the sorted recyclables are baled like hay and later returned to manufacturers. Remember that empty beer can you tossed into recycling after that 4th of July party? Well, someday it might return to you, cold and full and ready to drink. And recycle. Coming up, when you're trying to catch big bluegills, the catch itself is equal only to the adventure to find them. Only time will tell.
Look at the size of that bluegill.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Borderview Lodge.
You know, one of my favorite fish to catch through the ice is bluegills, right? Not only fun to catch, but good eating as well, which brings up our next story about places you can go to find them. I'm jealous about this story because I wasn't there. Travis Frank was.
Somewhere deep in northern Minnesota's forest, Brad Hawthorne prepares for a secret mission.
Yeah, this is like that over the river and through the woods, literally type deal to get back to where we need to go.
Come on. Come on, baby.
That's if
Ooh.
we can get there.
18 below.
Do we need to say a prayer over the four-wheeler?
It wouldn't hurt.
A few guide tricks, and we're in business.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good sign.
Oh, it's alive!
Yeah.
Thank you, Lord. We have bluegills to catch.
Bluegills are the reason we have come, but not just any bluegill. We are looking for Minnesota's biggest. Brad chases these fish year-round, and he knows that to catch one today means we must fish down the path less traveled.
It's the chase, it's the hunt, it's the preservation of that. Kind of like a treasure chest, always trying to find that new lake with that big bluegill.
1 pound bluegills still swim here, or so we hope. If they do, it's only because they haven't been taken yet.
They're rare.
Exactly why Brad fishes here in secret.
We're in paradise.
We are in paradise.
Once upon a time, Minnesota had thousands of lakes just like this. But large bluegills became a tasty prize, filling stringers and buckets faster than they could replenish. Biologists say anglers are to blame.
There's an overharvest problem on bluegills. It's natural for anglers to select for the largest fish. You know, it's a meat fishery for consumption, so they're looking for bigger fillets.
To clarify, a big bluegill measures 10 inches, weighing close to 1 pound.
So as your 10-inch bluegills get depleted, they start dropping their standards down to 9s and 8s, progressively less. As those big males are gone, the younger males start to mature earlier, and they put a lot more of their energy into reproduction rather than growth. And then they fill the void that was previously filled with big fish.
There he is. Bluegill. I came a long way for you. Where there's little ones, there's big ones. Is he on it?
Don't think this one's our target species. Oh, it is a little teeny bluegill.
Right flavor.
Once they get depleted to the point where your fish are maxing out at 7.5 inches, we haven't really shown where you can recover from that yet, and that may take a long time, if at all.
precisely why Brad keeps a tight lip.
So these areas right here need to be protected better, and I don't think the DNR can do any better of a job. I think people need to really, once they get to a certain size, they need to go back.
Hey, Brad.
We're getting closer.
We're getting closer.
Sunfish and crappie were considered, I believe, a never-ending resource. If you wanted a meal of fish, you brought your 5-gallon bucket and your rod and you filled it. And unfortunately, it was with 10 and 11-inch bluegill.
Today, a 10-inch bluegill is rare, even here in the middle of nowhere.
You have to search longer and search harder for these lakes.
And all that effort makes success that much sweeter.
There he is. There's a whole bunch of them here. It's happening. That's a good one.
If you put the effort in the winter, the time, the research, and the pure man hours, you will usually be rewarded with either knowing that lake is not worth it and going to the next one, or rewarded with a lake that could give you bluegill treasures for years to come.
Oh.
If you keep your mouth kind of closed a little bit.
Yes. Look at the size of that bluegill. That is a paper plate right there.
Yeah. And here's my favorite part right here.
That, my friend, is a nice bluegill. That's awesome right there.
It means put it back. It really does. I mean, a pound bluegill to me means put it back.
Thank you, buddy.
In doing so, we hope our grandkids will one day say thanks.
Our own Minnesota-bound classic this week takes us away from the ice and snow, if only for a fishing moment.
Minnesota Bound, brought to you by Northland Tracker Boating Centers, Star Bank, and by Totem Resorts.
Time now for our Minnesota-bound classic, and it is a classic because it goes back to the days when you have the winter doldrums, your snowblower won't work, and, well, I found a solution.
They are headed for 40 degrees below zero tonight. These are the wind chills. You can see still around minus 50 to the west, and we are...
Wind chills, wind schmeals. This is too much. Cars won't start because they're too smart. Folks are slip-sliding away on ice that won't go away. And this snow shoveling, while dressed like an Eskimo, well, it's not starting to get old. It is old. Ditto for the old snowblower. You blow snow one way, nature blows it back. That's it. I can't stand it anymore. Who said you can't fight back? Carrying a fishing pole and a tackle box might look a little stupid when it's 20 below. Who cares? Mother Nature isn't that smart. There's a place for winter-stressed anglers to go, and I'm a-going. Man, I can feel it now. Back to the old fishing hole. And the living is easy. Ooh, the fish are jumping, and the cotton is high.
Just like a summer day out here.
What happens, people get fed up with winter, and they can't wait till summer. And so they come out and catch some nice fish out here.
Summertime, 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 yahoo!
We started our indoor trout facility because in Minnesota, winters are about 9 months long. And of course, when it's really cold outside, it's too cold to be standing on the ice or standing near a pond fishing. So we gave people the opportunity to come fish indoors.
Hey, you can take that, old man winter.
At Trout Air, the fish always bite.
You know, you can fool a snow shoveler once or maybe twice, but not all winter.
There we go.
Sadly, Trout Air is no longer there, but the memories are still very fond. Good fishing, too. That about does it for us. Remember, introduce the kid to the great outdoors, and my happy star of the show here is Raven. What do you want? Food, 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 food.
Transportation provided by Premier Transportation. Call 1-800-899-7433. For more information on these stories and more, catch us on the web at mnbound.com.